Right now, this very moment, you're standing at a crossroads. And here's what you need to understand. The calendar isn't waiting for you to feel prepared. Life doesn't pause while you figure things out. You're either pushing forward or falling behind. There's no neutral ground here. The winners this year, they made their decision months ago. They didn't sit around asking for approval. They didn't wait until everything felt perfect. They saw what they wanted and charged straight toward it. Because here's the brutal truth. Playing it safe was destroying them from the inside out. What makes this year different from any other? Honestly, nothing at all. Same number of days, same 24 hours, same 60 minutes in each one. But here's what can be different. You, right here, right now, you can choose to stop lying to yourself. You can decide this is when you quit pretending that staying comfortable will take you anywhere meaningful. People who never leave their comfort zone, they don't create impact, they don't build legacies. They wake up decades later, asking where all the time went. And I'm asking you to make a choice. Not tomorrow morning, not next Monday, this second. As you hear these words, will you be the person who takes action or the person who wishes they had? The biggest lie you're telling yourself is that you have plenty of time. You don't. None of us do. We walk around acting like we're immortal, planning for someday, waiting for this perfect alignment of circumstances. When does that happen? When does the universe send you an engraved invitation? Never. That moment you're waiting for is a fantasy you've created to justify staying exactly where you are. Here's what's real. You either move today, or you probably never will. That venture you dream about building, that transformation you want for your body, that broken connection you need to repair, that expertise you want to develop, all of it demands movement today. Not when you feel ready. Today. This is your window. And if you waste it waiting for ideal conditions, you'll spend the rest of your life drowning in regret. Want to know what this year really demands from you? Understanding that rescue isn't coming. Your family can't do this for you. Your circle can't manufacture your success. Your employer won't gift you the existence you're craving. The system won't solve your challenges. Nobody cares about your aspirations the way you do. Most people don't care at all. That's not harsh. That's reality. The faster you accept that this battle is yours alone, the faster you can start winning. Because when you realize everything depends on you, something fundamental shifts. The excuses disappear. The blame game ends. You stop waiting for external validation before you validate yourself. You face the mirror and make a real decision. Either you're going to create this reality, or you're going to spend your years wondering what might have been. And wondering is agony. Wondering will consume you from within. Picture the version of yourself you want to become by December. Actually visualize them. How do they move through the world? What have they achieved? What daily practices define them? What level of commitment drives their every action? Now ask yourself the most critical question you'll ever face. What would that version of you do right now? In this exact instant? Would they hit snooze repeatedly? Would they lose hours to mindless scrolling? Would they fuel themselves with garbage and skip their workout? Would they dodge difficult conversations? Would they delay that crucial project? No, you know they wouldn't. So why are you? You're not that person yet, but you could be. The distance between your current self and your desired self isn't about talent. It's not about luck. It's not about who you know. It's about choices. The countless small decisions you make daily that either pull you closer to that vision or trap you in the same cycles that have paralyzed you for years. Here's what most people miss about transformation. It's uncomfortable. It's supposed to hurt. If you're comfortable, you're not expanding. You're decaying. You're becoming irrelevant. The world doesn't reward comfort. Existence doesn't reward comfort. Comfort is where ambition dies. Most people never accomplish anything remarkable because they refuse to be uncomfortable long enough. They experiment with something new for days, maybe weeks, and when difficulty arrives, when the excitement fades and only brutal, unglamorous work remains, they quit. They convince themselves it wasn't their path. They claim they gave their best effort, but they didn't. They gave their most comfortable effort. They gave whatever they could without disrupting their routine, without sacrificing leisure, without actually transforming who they are. That's not commitment, that's dabbling, and dabbling produces nothing. This year's mindset means you embrace the struggle. You sprint toward the hard parts. You tackle what makes you want to quit, because that's where growth exists. That's where transformation occurs. Every person you admire went through hell to get there. They just didn't advertise it. They didn't broadcast their suffering daily. They put their head down and executed. They showed up when motivation was absent. They continued when everything in them screamed to stop. They chose discipline over motivation because they understood something vital. Motivation is temporary. Motivation is that fleeting surge you get from consuming content or imagining your future. It lasts seconds. Discipline is what carries you through the days when you'd rather do anything else. Discipline is what constructs the life you actually want. You're going to fail this year. Multiple times. Probably more failures than victories initially. And that's exactly right. Failure isn't the enemy of success. Failure is the entry fee. You can't learn to fight without taking hits. You can't learn business without mistakes that cost you money, sleep, and sanity. You can't learn leadership without making wrong decisions. Every failure is information. Every mistake teaches what success never could. Winners aren't people who never fail. They're people who fail faster, learn quicker, and keep moving. They don't sit around nursing wounds and seeking pity. They don't blame the economy or their background or their limited resources. They examine what went wrong, extract the lesson, and try again with better intelligence. That's the formula. Attempt, fail, learn, adjust, repeat. Keep cycling until you win. It's straightforward, not easy, but straightforward. Stop measuring yourself against others. Stop comparing your journey to someone else's highlight reel. You don't know what they sacrificed. You don't know what's happening behind their closed doors. You don't know how many times they nearly gave up. You only see the final result, and you're comparing it to your beginning. That's madness. The only competition that matters is with yesterday's version of yourself. Are you better today than you were 24 hours ago? Did you learn something? Did you act on something you've been avoiding? Did you show slightly more discipline, focus, courage? That's your only metric. Because if you improve by just 1% daily, you'll be 37 times better by year's end. That's not inspiration, that's mathematics. Compound growth is legitimate, but you must make the deposits. You must do the work consistently, when nobody's watching, when there's no immediate payoff, when it feels meaningless. This year requires you to destroy your old identity. You must eliminate the version of yourself that manufactures excuses. The version claiming you're not a morning person, or bad with finances, or lacking discipline. Those are narratives you tell yourself to avoid the hard work of change. You're not fixed. You're not trapped as who you've always been. Your brain is adaptable. Your patterns can be rewired. Your entire existence can be reconstructed if you're willing to release the comfortable lies. But you must want change more than you want sameness. You must be willing to examine yourself honestly, without flinching, without justifying, and admit that the reason your life isn't where you want it is you. Not your circumstances, not your history. You, your decisions, your actions, your standards. That's either terrifying or liberating. Because if it's your fault, you have the power to fix it. Here's a question that will revolutionize everything if you answer truthfully. What would you do if fear didn't exist? Really consider that. What would you launch if failure was impossible? What relationship would you pursue? What career would you chase? What creative work would you release? What conversation would you initiate? Most people never ask this because the answer terrifies them. The answer exposes the gap between who they are and who they could be. That gap is uncomfortable to confront, but that discomfort is exactly what you need to pursue. That fear is a compass directing you toward growth. If something scares you, and it's not genuinely dangerous, just uncertain or uncomfortable, that's probably exactly what you should do. Your fear wants to protect you, but protection is overvalued. Protection keeps you limited. Protection keeps you stuck. You don't need protection. You need progress. You need momentum. You need proof that you're capable of more than you believe. Time is the only resource you cannot recover. You can lose money and rebuild it. You can lose relationships and form new ones. You can fail at business and start fresh. But time, once gone, is gone forever. Every day you waste waiting for the perfect moment is a day lost permanently. Every week spent scrolling instead of building is a week erased. Every month you delay your goals is a month closer to the end, where you'll look back wishing you'd just begun. The clock is moving right now as you process these words. It won't slow down. It won't give you mercy. It just advances, indifferent to whether you're maximizing it or watching it disappear. This year's mindset means treating time as the precious, irreplaceable asset it is. Stop wasting it on meaningless things. Stop giving it to people who don't value it. Invest it in yourself, your growth, your future, as if your life depends on it. Because it does. You're going to sacrifice things. There's no alternative. You can't add new behaviors without removing old ones. You can't construct a new life while clinging to comfortable parts of your old one. Something must go. Maybe it's the relationships that drain you and pull you backward. Maybe it's the hours on television or games. Maybe it's sleep because you need to wake earlier for your goals. Maybe it's the junk food medicating your stress. Whatever it is, you know what it is. You've known forever. You're just afraid to release it because it's familiar. But here's what nobody wants to tell you. Your comfort zone is a cage. It feels secure because it's predictable, but it's murdering your potential every day you remain. You're choosing security over significance. You're choosing ease over excellence. Maybe that's acceptable for some people. Maybe some are content with average, but not you. If you were, you wouldn't still be listening right now. The people who succeed this year will stop asking permission. They'll stop waiting for validation from people who aren't at where they want to be. They'll stop caring what old acquaintances think of their ambitions. They'll stop letting their family's limited vision control their own. They'll look at the life they desire and decide that wanting it is sufficient justification. They won't need external confirmation it's possible. They won't need others to believe in them. They'll believe in themselves, even when it's irrational, even when evidence suggests quitting, even when everyone thinks they're insane. And everyone will think they're insane right until the moment it works. Then suddenly everyone wants the secret. There is no secret. The secret is, they started when nobody believed. They continued when everyone said stop. They stayed committed when quitting was easier. That's everything. Your mind will try sabotaging you. It's designed for survival, not success. Your brain wants safety, comfort, conformity. Don't risk. Don't stand out. Don't fail publicly. That's its programming. But you're not trying to survive. You're trying to build something. You're trying to become someone. That requires overriding your brain's safety systems daily. It requires feeling fear and acting anyway. Feeling resistance and pushing through. Hearing the voice saying not today and responding, especially today. This is the real battle. Not external circumstances. Not obstacles in your path. The battle is between your current self and your future self. Your current self will fight desperately to maintain control because change threatens it. Your old self wants survival. Your new self wants excellence. One must win. Every single day, with every choice, you're voting for which one it'll be. Stop waiting for perfection. Perfect is mythology. Perfect is the excuse fear uses to paralyze you. You don't need perfect conditions to start. You don't need the perfect plan. You don't need to know how everything will unfold. You just need the next step, just one. Can you take one more step today toward who you want to become? Of course, anyone can take one step. The problem is, people think they need to see the entire staircase before climbing. They need everything figured out. They need guarantees. There are no guarantees. You take a step, then another, and eventually you look back realizing you've climbed higher than you imagined possible. But you must take that first step without knowing where it leads. You must start before you're ready. You must commit before you're confident. Because confidence doesn't come from preparation. Confidence comes from action. You do the thing, survive it, learn from it, and then you're slightly more confident next time. That's how it builds, not from thinking, from doing. The world doesn't need more potential. Potential means nothing. Potential is a polite word for wasted ability. The world is full of people who could have been something, who had all the talent, who never did the work. They had potential. So what? What matters is execution. What matters is results. What matters is showing up daily and doing the unglamorous, difficult, boring work that transforms potential into reality. Will you be someone who talks about what they'll do or someone who does it? Someone with plans or someone with progress? Because talk is cheap. Plans without execution are worthless. Ideas mean nothing without action. This year is about less talking, more doing, less planning, more starting, less thinking, more executing. Stop announcing your intentions. Stop posting your goals. Stop seeking validation. Just work. Build silently. Let results speak. And when you've actually accomplished something meaningful, you won't need to announce it. People will see it. They'll feel it. They'll know something changed. And by then, you won't care what they think anyway, because you'll be too focused on the next thing. You're going to be miserable at some point. Maybe multiple times. Days when you question everything, when you wonder if it's worth it, when you want to quit and return to comfortable familiarity. Those days are coming. The difference between people who make it and those who don't isn't that successful people avoid those days. It's that they push through anyway. They remember why they started. They see how far they've traveled. They refuse to let a bad day, week, or even month destroy the entire journey. This is endurance, not a sprint. You don't win by having one amazing day. You win by showing up for 365 days. Some great, most average, some terrible. But if you show up for all of them, if you work regardless of how you feel, you'll end the year completely transformed. That's the goal. Not perfection, not constant happiness. Progress, transformation, becoming someone you respect. This year will test you. It'll push you to your limits and demand more. It'll force uncomfortable, painful growth. It'll reveal parts of yourself you didn't know existed, both good and bad. It'll ask questions you can't answer and force decisions you're not ready for. And all of that is exactly what you need. You don't grow in comfort. You grow in challenge. You grow when forced to adapt, when pushed beyond what you thought possible, when you have no choice but to become more. This year's mindset understands that difficulty is the path, not the obstacle. Hard is where you want to be. Struggle is where transformation lives. If everything's easy, you're not challenging yourself. You're not growing. You're coasting, and coasting leads nowhere worth going. Look at your life right now. Really look. Are you proud? Are you living aligned with your values? Are you acting on your goals? Are you becoming who you said you'd be? Or are you making excuses? Justifying lack of progress? Blaming external factors for internal problems? Because if you're not where you want to be, there's a reason. And that reason is you. Not circumstances, not history, not resources. You. Your daily decisions, your standards, your discipline when nobody's watching, that determines your life. And if you don't like your life, you have two options. Accept it and stop complaining, or change it and stop making excuses. Those are your only options. Everything else is noise. This year requires brutal self-honesty. You must examine your weaknesses without flinching. Identify the patterns holding you back. Admit where you're wrong, lazy, scared. Most people can't do this. They can't handle the truth about themselves. They need the illusion they're doing their best, that circumstances are against them, that they just need one lucky break. But you must be different. You must be willing to tear yourself apart, see all the broken pieces, and rebuild yourself stronger. You must inventory yourself in ways nobody else can. What are you good at? What do you suck at? What needs improvement? What habits are destroying you? What relationships drain you? What beliefs limit you? Answer honestly, without sugarcoating. Then act on those answers. That's how you change. Not by lying about where you are, but by acknowledging reality and doing something about it. Nobody will care about your excuses when the year ends. Nobody will congratulate you for trying hard while accomplishing nothing. Nobody will sympathize because things were difficult. Difficult is standard for anything worthwhile. Easy is for people who don't want much. You want more than easy. You want something that matters, that lasts, that proves you're capable of more than you imagined, that requires stopping the excuses and starting the progress, stopping the explanations of why you can't and figuring out how you can, taking complete ownership of your life, decisions, results. Because the moment you stop blaming external factors and start taking responsibility for everything, that's when everything changes. That's when you reclaim your power. That's when you realize that if it's your fault, it's also your solution. The distractions are always available. The easy path is always there. You can choose comfort, entertainment, instant gratification every day for the rest of your life. Nobody will stop you. But the opportunity to build something significant, to become someone extraordinary, to achieve goals that actually matter, that window isn't always open. That window is open right now, while you're young enough, healthy enough, hungry enough to act, but it won't be open forever. One day you'll wake up too old, too tired, too set in your ways. One day you'll look back wishing you'd taken the shot when you had it. Don't be that person. Don't be the one who chose temporary comfort over lasting achievement. Don't be the one who played it safe and ended up with nothing worth remembering. Be the person who jumped, who risked, who failed, and got back up and tried again. Be the person who gave everything they had to become everything they could be. This is it. This is your year. Not because there's anything magical about it, but because you're deciding right now it's going to be. You're making a commitment that this is when everything changes. When you stop playing small, when you stop waiting for permission, when you take what's yours. Nobody will hand it to you. Nobody will make it easy. But if you want it desperately enough, if you're willing to suffer for it, if you're willing to become the kind of person who deserves it, then nothing can stop you. Not circumstances, not setbacks, not fear, not doubt, nothing. The only thing that can stop you is you. So don't stop, don't quit, don't surrender when it gets hard, because it will get hard. That's when most people quit. That's when you keep going. That's how you win. That's this year's mindset.